What's up guys, and Google's redemption is here. The Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro are back with a vengeance. It's time to see how the Pixel 6 Pro model stacks up against the beast of Samsung that came out in the beginning of this year, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Straight up value/pricing wise, the Pixel 6 family beats out Samsung's entire S21 lineup. $599 for the Pixel 6 and $899 for the Pixel 6 Pro, which makes the Pro around $100 cheaper than the S21 Ultra. Google also played Samsung tactics of offering free gifts for those who pre-order these phones. But let's find out if the Pixel 6 Pro holds up or not in this early comparison with the S21 Ultra. Now looking at the design, both phones are definitely creating their own unique look. Google's design choice definitely brings back memories of the Nexus XP. I kinda like this dual tone bumpy design, and despite both phones having 5000 mAh battery, the Pixel 6 Pro actually feels lighter in hand compared to the S21 Ultra. With that being said, I'm definitely not a fan of the fingerprints that I'm getting on the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro because of their glossy look. It's definitely not as visible on the white model compared to the darker colored variants. Still, I definitely prefer the matte finish of the S21 Ultra. It's completely fingerprint free and it looks just as new as the day when I started using it. Both phones are coming with absolute best protection thanks to Gorilla Glass Victus and IP68 water and dust resistance rating. This time, for the first time ever, the Pixel 6 Pro also offers an under-screen fingerprint scanner just like we have on the S21 Ultra. They both support wireless charging, where Google actually comes on top with 23-watt wireless charging, and even the wired charging is coming at 30 watt, which is faster than what Samsung's currently offering. Now looking at the front display, both phones are rocking a pretty large screen. We have a 6.71-inch display on the Pixel 6 Pro, and the S21 Ultra has got a 6.8-inch screen. Both phones are rocking Quad HD resolution with 120Hz refresh rate, and they've got really bright screens along with incredible screen to body ratio. I definitely like that squarish note kind of look of the Pixel 6 Pro more than the rounded look of the S21 Ultra. Again, that comes down to personal preference. As for the overall peak brightness of the display, the S21 Ultra can hit 1500 nits, whereas Google, they didn't really specify the actual max brightness level on the Pixel 6 Pro, but it's definitely not as much as Samsung's peak brightness. Now there is something really special about Samsung's display, and that is it works with the S Pen, so you can actually get a note experience on this phone, something that obviously you don't get with the Pixel 6 Pro. Now on to the performance. This is a pretty big deal for the Pixel 6 series because for the first time ever we have the custom Google Tensor chip. It's pretty much like the Exynos 2100 inside the S21 Ultra with the same GPUs, same 5nm architecture. The only difference is that the brain, aka the neural processing unit, is from Google, so Google can have that complete control. But when it comes to performance, these phones should perform almost on par. Again, it's gonna come down to the software. I will be doing a dedicated speed test later on, so make sure you subscribe for that. But in terms of just using these phones in hand, they feel incredibly smooth because of that 120Hz refresh rate and of course super optimized animations. Now software wise, Google is bringing the latest, and I mean the absolute latest, pure Android 12 on the Pixel 6 Pro. Samsung is still stuck on the Android 11, but very soon we're gonna see the One UI 4.0 based on Android 12 next month. When it comes to the skins, the stock Android is definitely starting to become more like, you know, custom OEM skin. It doesn't look that much vanilla like back in the days, which is a nice thing because we've got some good features going on like the Material U theme engine, which will make its way to Samsung devices as well. However, Samsung Skin still offers more features than stock Android, like Samsung Dex, which transform your phone into like a mini laptop experience. Plus, there are loads of extra features built in Samsung's One UI. To counter that, the stock Android does bring the fastest software updates on any Android device out there, something that Samsung cannot match, so you're gonna get the latest version of the Android first on the Pixel devices. As for the actual software support, both Samsung and Google promises 3 major OS upgrades, so long-term relevance wise, both phones are on par. Now lastly, let's talk cameras. This is where it's all about. Google's biggest camera upgrade is finally here. We have a 50 megapixel main Samsung ISOCELL GN1 sensor, which outputs 12 megapixel images similar to the S21 Ultra's 108 megapixel sensor. As for the zoom, you can see the S21 Ultra still has the upper hand again because of its 10x optical level compared to the 4x optical zoom on the Pixel 6 Pro. But Google has a big surprise, which is the super zoom on the Pixel 6 Pro that actually extends the zoom up to 20 times, which again, not as much as the 100x, but the quality is surprisingly amazing. Again, we'll be doing a camera test dedicated later on. Range wise, it's still not as much as what you can get on the S21 Ultra, but it's more than enough for 99% people out there. And finally, we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens on both devices. Now this is not a camera test comparison, that's coming later, but what you can expect images wise is that same pixel camera processing combined with the high resolution. Now in terms of the video, Google can only do 4K 60 FPS with the main camera lens, while the rest of the lenses are capped at 4K 30 FPS, while the S21 Ultra on the other hand can do 4K 60 on all lenses. In some areas, Samsung still has an edge, but then Google comes back at Samsung with its astrophotography mode. They both go back and forth, and the actual experience is pretty good on both phones overall. I don't think any of these phones completely beat each other at all. What I can say is that whatever phone you decide to pick up, you're ultimately gonna get the best camera experience on an Android phone, something that we couldn't say about past Pixel phones. Now with the bigger sensor and the telephoto zoom that extends all the way up to 20 times and great portrait mode, it's right up there. Now lastly, I'm gonna talk about the battery life. Now Pixel 6 Pro's battery performance so far in the time that I've used this phone, it actually looked really good and completely optimized. I haven't tested Google's promise that this phone can last one day beyond even with 5G, but I can say so far it's been very good. The S21 Ultra on the other hand doesn't really last me a full day. It's not a bad battery life, but it's definitely not a 1 day plus usage experience, especially on 120Hz unless you switch to 60Hz or use any of the power saving tools. Again, we'll be doing a complete battery drain test, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. So all in all, the Pixel 6 Pro nails a lot of things perfectly, and it's almost on par with the S21 Ultra. The big difference comes down to the value proposition, especially the base Pixel 6 coming at $599. It's cheaper than any of Samsung's S21 series phones. It offers major features of the Pro model, and with the absence of the Galaxy S21 FE, Google really has the time to shine. As for the Pixel 6 Pro versus the S21 Ultra, again, it's $100 cheaper, so pricing wise, Google's lineup overall is a much sweeter deal than Samsung's. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe. Again, stay tuned for all the coverage, all the tests that will happen on this channel in the coming days. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.